good to great. And now remember, we are making an analogy between how companies go from a good place to a great place and how people can do the exact same thing. And I'm going to share with you 3 traits that companies have that make them leap from good to great and how it is that you can do the same. And this goes directly into what leadership is. So reposition means to change from one position in one place and switch to another. So let me give you a few examples of, because this goes into adaptability. Let me give you a few examples of how great companies or good companies are able to reposition. And I'll give you examples of companies that were not able to make a reposition. So Burlington. Burlington used to be called what?
Coke factory.
Exactly. You notice now they dropped the Coke.
Now it's an outlet.
Now it's an outlet period.
That's right.
So they understood that the way to reposition themselves was to go from just selling coats to selling not just men's clothes in general, but to sell all types of things. I mean, now they're selling toys. I went in here the other day, they got dishes and all types of stuff. It's a full-fledged outlet. The
They also have women things up in here too.
They definitely do. And so as you see, it got them, what happens is they understood that the coats got them so far, but in order to get to the next level, they had to shift both the product line and clientele and customers. The second example is Amazon. Now Amazon started with, there you go, it started with books.
Absolutely.
Books got them only but so far. Now, Amazon was able to put out of business a lot of these bookstores like Borders and I think Barnes & Noble, they're still around.
They're not as big as they were before.
Definitely not. But Jeff Bezos, who is the president of Amazon, would never have become the wealthiest man in the world by just sticking with books. So what he understood was he had to reposition himself. And they moved out of the arena of just books into generally, how can you sell online anything? And that's what makes Amazon what it is. It has completely cut out people needing to go to stores in order to get a deal. Now everything can be shipped directly to them, direct to customer through Amazon. And as well as people can bid over pricing. So those are 2 examples of companies that made the shift. So Reed Hastings had a $40 late fee out of Blockbusters, and he came up with this great idea after he simmered down from being angry. And he said, you know what? What if, you said what? Before that, this is what he decided, what he thought. He said, what if Blockbusters or movie rental companies worked less like rental companies and more like gyms? Whereas, instead of paying per movie, you paid a flat rate for an entire month and you can rent as many movies as you want. Like a gym membership. It's a flat rate and you go to the gym as much as you want.
Right.
What if movie rentals work the same way? And so Reed Hastings came up with this idea and Netflix was born.
Right.
Now, when Netflix came about, there was still an opportunity for Blockbusters to get into that market. Blockbusters said what? It's not going to last. There's no way that people are going to want to watch movies on their phone and on the computer. The rest is history. Blockbusters is now bankrupt. Netflix is $1 billion industry. The ability to be able to be successful leaders know how to reposition. They know how to move with the times. They know how to ascertain and understand that things change, people change, times change, and you cannot stay the same. Sometimes what happens with people now as I shift this into just the individual professional arena, sometimes what happens is people have had certain careers throughout their lives and they don't understand the power of reposition. This happens all the time, even with people who are wildly successful in one career. This is why you have athletes who may be great on the field, they're great on the court, they're great doing their sport, and then now they don't know how to shift. It happens with entertainers. Maybe they came out with a great CD, they came out with a great album, maybe they did a hit TV show, and now they're trying to continue to recreate that success. And they find themselves continuously chasing something that has passed them by because they don't know how to reposition. So maybe I use the Will Smith example. You know, he started with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but that's not what his empire is built on now. I mean, that was what really gave him his start and made him a household name. He switched into doing movies. Now he's producing. And now he has his children in movies.
Absolutely.
You see, so it's moving from being in one arena. So the second thing that great leaders are able to do is re-innovate. Re-innovate. They're able to rethink things. Now, remember I told you the book Daniel Goleman's book, Working with Emotional Intelligence? What he found in that book was that successful people, great leaders, have the ability to have what they call big picture thinking.
What was the name of that book?
Working with Emotional Intelligence. Okay. Big picture thinking. They're able to see, this is how I want you to put it in your notes, to re-innovate. They're able to see patterns. They're able to see patterns. That's what leaders are able to do. They're able to step back from the details and the what we call the minutia, which is the minute, small, minuscule details, and not get caught up in that and able to see the big picture. What is the larger picture of what's going on? It's the ability to think outside the box, see it's big picture thinking.
Right. Okay.
That's what Ray Kroc had.
Right.
He did not found McDonald's, but he did found McDonald's. I know it sounds like a paradox. He didn't found the restaurant McDonald's,
Right.
but he founded the concept of McDonald's. And those are two different things. Because the restaurant McDonald's was founded by who? The McDonald's brothers.
Right. Absolutely.
And it was based on shakes, fries, and burgers.
So he had vision.
But he had the concept, which was that this restaurant here can be replicated all over the world.
Family.
He saw it bigger. He saw that it was able to be in countries across the world, in cities across the world, in states across this country. He had the ability to see beyond San Bernardino. The McDonald's brothers, though on some levels they had vision, they lacked what we would call big picture thinking.
Got you.
Because their vision stopped at San Bernardino. It stopped at the couple restaurants that they had. Ray Kroc sees, wait a minute, we have the ability to take this and launch this into a whole nother stratosphere. And so, like I said, while he did not found the restaurant, he founded the concept. He founded what we know of today as McDonald's, this multinational juggernaut, which is and this is a small fact for you to know, we've never gone to war with a country that has a McDonald's. I don't know if y'all know that. America's not, when I say we, America's not a country.
Yep.
And so he saw even the arches. He saw this is powerful. These arches, I mean, I think he took it a bit far in the movie, but he said that the arches were like the flag and the cross. Took it somewhere completely different. But the point was, he understood how to have big picture thinking. When you see great leaders, particularly in the political realm, they have big picture thinking.
Yeah.
They're able to see, take John Kennedy, hey, we can go to the moon. They're not as focused on details. They've done studies that show time and time again, whether it's on a state level with the governor, the local level with the mayor, presidential level, national, what they found is that people who win elections, when the person with all of the details or the plan comes up against the person with the vision, all things being equal, the person with the vision wins. Because people are more connected to the vision than they are to the details. That's what re-innovate is. It's the ability to see. So you see, we're to see beyond. You see how it was coming full circle. We started this by saying, great leaders have vision. Now I'm bringing it back to vision, but I'm bringing it in a different way with re-innovate. If I had to put the core qualities again, here you go. Reposition. Wisdom. Remember we talked about the three core qualities of leadership? Wisdom, vision, will. It takes wisdom to know, remember we said wisdom is discernment, to discern the shifting of the times, the changing of the times. and how to shift so that way you can take advantage of it. It takes vision to be able to re-innovate, to think about something differently, to have big picture thinking, that's vision. But when we get to talking about rejuvenating resilience, we're talking about the will. This is the action part.
The will to survive.
It's the will. Persistence is an outward manifestation. So put this down, it's an outward manifestation of your inner will to win. Because I can't see your will to win, but I can see your action. That's what persistence is. Persistence is the ability that no matter what happens, you get back up. Persistence is the outer manifestation of your inner will to win. That's what this is about, your willpower. Chutzpah, stick to it, this gut, grit, grind. People who are resilient are able to come back. Able to come back swinging.
Come back soon.
That's what resilient people are able to do. And this is when you start talking about, well, first I'll start with companies. When you talk about companies, almost every great company that you can think of has had a moment where it was some massive defeat and they had to come back. But then sometimes it's not so much a company failure, it's a personal failure. So the example of that is Madam C.J. Walker. She was actually born Sarah Breedlove. She created an entire line of cosmetics that was used for beauty, skin products, hair. But it's interesting to know about her, she was losing her own hair. She was going bald. And so out of her own personal crises, and what she realized was when her hair began to grow back, she thought to herself, other people can use this as well. And so her name, her given name is Sarah Breedlove, but the world knows her as Madam C.J. Walker.
That's correct.
And she's the first self-made woman millionaire in America.
Absolutely.
She happened to be black, but it wasn't that she was the first black woman millionaire. She was the first self-made woman millionaire, period, in America. Became fabulously wealthy because what she understood was the opportunity in our crises. And leaders, because she was a leader, when you really look at how she did a lot of other things. She started pioneering things as far as education, academia. I think she started schools. What leaders have the ability to do is, even when something negative is happening, they have the ability to be able to find the opportunity in their crisis. So Rahm Emanuel used to be the chief of staff for Obama, actually, and he's now mayor of Chicago. But he has this quote that I love. He says, never let a crisis go to waste. Because he used to find ways to capitalize, almost like the spin, to capitalize on things that would destroy other people. And that's really what resilience is. It's not just the ability to survive something. It's the ability to be able to take it, use it, and then shift it around for your good. So in conclusion, when we talk about leaders, leadership, we're talking about three key qualities. The ability to be able to reposition, the ability to be able to re-innovate, and the ability to be able to rejuvenate or be resilient. This is a quality, core quality of all these. Now if you notice, all I did was here give you different ways of looking at wisdom, vision, and will.